Rewatching Hunter x Hunter is 100% worth it, and here's why. Let me just start off this video by saying no, I'm not going to be saying Hunter x Hunter because the X is another godforsaken syllable, and I don't have time for that. Yo, it's Dono, and after 3 years, I finally got around to rewatching Hunter x Hunter, and I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions and hopefully try to convince you to do the same. By the way, spoiler warning, if you haven't already seen this because it's been out since, technically 1999, but 2011, then you're basically committing a crime. You should turn this video off and go watch the dang show. And once you're done with that, come back, but for now, let's get right into the video. Now to start off, I originally watched the show in the sub, and that's because I'm not a degenerate. But when it came to rewatching it, because I had some other things going on with like doing homework, etc., I switched between the sub and the dub, and honestly, it's a little rough, the dub. It's not perfect, it's not polished, but it's not terrible. Its main and pretty much only redeeming factor is the fact that Matt Mercer is the voice of Leorio. But alas, there's always some kind of weird thing when it comes to dubbing over... There's different things or differences, so like, it's not gonna be 100% perfect. Getting to see Gon evolve and sort of develop his character throughout the entirety of the story, and I know that the manga continues on, but we're not even talking about that, we're talking about the anime, but seeing Gon go from this happy-go-lucky kid to kind of dealing with his emotions, dealing with his selfishness, dealing with flaws that he has as a human being is really good, really cool to see. Relatable even. It was awesome to see Gon, Leorio, Killua, and Kurapika back at it again, going on adventures, doing Hunter-esque things, and honestly, the nostalgia and the joy that it brought was magnificent. Something I feel like I should say is that Hunter x Hunter was the first anime that I actually looked for and sought out knowing that anime is what I wanted to watch and that anime was this cool thing that brought me entertainment and joy. And with that in mind, I may be a teensy weensy little bit biased, but hey, you came and watched the video, so you're along for the ride now. And like I said in my last rewatch video, which if you haven't seen it already, you should definitely go check it out. Having a sort of idea or concept of everything that's going on and how every individual plotline and subplot line come together and make one whole of a story is a really cool thing. For example, if we go back to the Hunter exam arc and you see Hisoka punching Gon in the face and saying, hey, come give this badge back to me, and then we move on to the, I don't know if it's called the Heavens Arena arc, but I'm gonna call it the Heavens Arena arc because that was freaking amazing. We move on to the Heavens Arena and we see that Gon and Killua learning and getting better at fighting and eventually getting to the point at which Gon can challenge Hisoka on the 200th floor, but in order to do that, they need to learn Nen, and everything connects and it flows so nicely and it's just fantastic. Speaking of Nen, I need to credit the English dub with something because originally when I watched it however many years ago, the subbed version didn't really give me a good concept or grasp or comprehension of what Nen was, how it works, the different methods of using Nen, etc. But when it came to watching it in English, I almost got it freaking immediately. Like, it was great. It was a nice, like, aha moment because it was something I previously didn't really get as well as I probably should have in order to move on or gain the knowledge of what's going on within the story, but hey, I know it now. And the entire concept of Nen, having your aura or your life energy or whatever you want to call it used and kind of creatively enhanced or weaponized or, gives you abilities is just one of the coolest things ever. And getting to see our protagonists, Killua, Gon, Kurapika, Leorio doesn't really do anything with Nen. Look at this idiot. Look at this absolute buffoon. How could he possibly forget one of Leorio's greatest moments when he punches Jing square in the jaw? Oh my gosh, how could you be so idiotic? Whatever, getting to see our protagonists kind of learn Nen, develop their own unique abilities, and having those abilities be freaking Jajangmyeon and Godspeed and the chains, it's one of the coolest kind of experiences, coolest transitions or developments within the story. And seeing that development and seeing the steps it takes to get to either Godspeed, Jajangmyeon, or Chains is super cool because you know what the end result is and you have hope and you have like excitement for when you finally get there, but you can also revisit and have the same experience of, oh, what's gonna happen next feeling of as they're going through their own journey of discovery, if you will. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was Greed Island, and Greed Island was fantastic. Honestly, I hardly remembered it before rewatching it, but going back and seeing it again was phenomenal. And that in turn brings it all the way back to Nen, because you need Nen in order to get to Greed Island, which, yes. Nen seems to be the chakra or the chi or whatever you want to call it of Hunter x Hunter, and it's sort of an anchor of how the extraordinary becomes not so extraordinary, more understandable, comprehensible, etc. And because of this, not only do we get a bunch of cool abilities and awesome action, but we also get a wider variety and explanation for some of the weird and wacky quote-unquote magical stuff that can happen throughout the entirety of the series. And I feel like knowing Nen and having a strong foundation and comprehension of it is kind of a key part of Hunter x Hunter and watching it and kind of enjoying the series more as a whole. Getting to see one of my favorite anime villains in action again was probably one of the best parts of the entire rewatching shenanigan. Hisoka has always been one of my favorite anime villains, and even though I don't agree with a lot of his tendencies, he is still such a great character. Not only does this man live and breathe the whole jester, magician, card tricky guy, but like he's just man, the voice acting and just his personality is just everything mixes so well. His abilities, bungee gum and texture surprise, just even the name just all flow within the aesthetic of kind of a sly, mystical, magical kind of trickster individual. And seeing him as the antagonist and kind of the driving force towards pushing Gon and Killua and everyone to get stronger, and it's a puzzle piece in this massive, fantastical story that we get to pleasure our eyeballs with seeing. Now that I've covered a lot of the positives of Hunter x Hunter, I'm unfortunately going to have to bring into the light the negative, the giant overarching negative that is the Chimera Ant arc. And yes, I've been hated on multiple times for not liking this arc because apparently it's amazing to some people, but I genuinely find it incredibly annoying. Not to mention, watching it again was incredibly annoying because it's so long, it's so unnecessarily long, and not too long after the arc, the series ends, so I feel like it ends on kind of a bad note, and it just, The ending in particular is the part of the arc that I want to focus on because for the majority of it, it's not too terrible, it's entertaining, you know, it provides me with my nostalgia fix, if you will, I don't know. But when we finally get to Meruem's mansion, I just like, it takes like 30 minutes and shoves it into like 20 bajillion episodes. And some people were like, oh, we need the explanation of what's going on in those 30 minutes from everyone's perspective. And I feel like they kind of just stretched it out for absolutely no reason. And another thing that I disliked is that after the Chimera Ant arc, within the arc, Gon is kind of an a-hole and he kind of messes up his relationship with Killua in a sense that Killua kind of realizes that like, oh, friendship isn't a debt that I have to repay. And it kind of needs to be a two-way street in a sense, and he kind of like, Gon and Killua part ways, and that just made my heart sad because they make a phenomenal team, and yeah, Gon kind of just messed it up. But even after the crazy kind of disgustingness that is the Chimera Ant arc, and if you like the arc, that's perfectly fine. I told you that I personally don't like it. You don't have to agree with my opinion in any way, shape, or form, but like, there are some good parts of it that I can find within it, especially after rewatching it, but for the majority, I just don't like it. But even after that craziness, Gon finally achieves his goal of meeting his dad, which is phenomenal. It was great. It was a fantastic way to end off a series that really, in my opinion, should still be going on today. Well, actually, thinking about it now, Togashi does take a lot of hiatuses, so that might not have worked out, but I digress. In conclusion, and without a moment to spare, Hunter x Hunter is 100% worth rewatching, watching for the first time, everything in general that involves watching it because it's phenomenal, its world building, great, its characters, great, its concept, great, everything about it, the villains, great, it's just, in general, it is fantastic. Rewatch it. I'm out of breath because apparently I haven't been running enough because I've been sitting at home too long, but it's amazing, it's fantastic, rewatch it, and yeah. And with that, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see more Hunter x Hunter content or more rewatch type videos, maybe we'll make this a series, leave a like on the video, and once again, visit the comments, let me know. We'll talk about it, discuss it, maybe even consider it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!